coming to build a block wall in this project here. Got our mortar, skidder, mixer. Take it right over to the other side of that AC unit. Got our line painted here. Our property pin lands right there. So we gotta dig all these trees out so that our wall doesn't break in half like this one did. But we're taking it all the way down there toward the front of the house there, returning it back in. So we'll have to either cut these off and dig the roots back, try to figure out how to kill the tree. These things are kind of like weeds. Once they get going, they're hard to kill, but it's a locust tree of some sort. So if you have a tree growing by the side of your wall, you have to decide which one you want worse, the tree or the wall. You can always move the tree, hopefully it doesn't die, but it's not worth it if you think your wall's any good. Got our block all spread out, got our H's positioned where we want it, got our string holders in place, our string lines are up, rebar's in the footing. We spread out our uprights about every 4 feet, and then one on every column block. Got that tree ripped out and dug through its roots. So this footing's going to be a little bit wider and a little bit deeper than regular. But that's alright. It'll make it beefy. So we got a step down there. Don't have our Z-bars in yet. Got our string up, a single peg with 8 inches of difference between them. So this string's set level from over on the existing wall. Stepped it up exactly 8 inches right there. Here's the shovel we used. It's the same exact shovel we used in the last video. So what we did is measured from right here to here 7 inches, and that makes it so that you're wet setting your block about a 1/2 inch into the concrete. Right at first, when you first start wet setting, it's a little bit soft to only go in a 1/2 inch, but by the time you get down the wall a little ways, then it's a lot more stiff, and you'll be glad you only went a 1/2 inch here. So we got this wet set. So what we did to set our strings was we measured about, on this particular wall, we had to go level off of the existing wall. So we just went with one of these joints here and went off of that for our height for this wall. But if you don't have an existing wall to measure off of, you can just go 17 inches off the footing for your off the bottom of your footing for your first string, and then laser everything in from there. This is about a 75-foot run. So we set these string holders at about 25 feet apart. So we have 2 of them in this wall. So there's 3 sections of 25 feet. And that just keeps your string nice and tight, keeps your blocks up to level. Because when you spray your footing down, sometimes you'll hit the string with a little water and it'll sag. So it's good to have plenty of pins holding it together. So down here where we put this, where we had to go around this tree root and this footing, we just stabbed that rebar in there just for the column block, and then we'll build this up a little bit more and then put our A block in there. We might just have to cut some pieces to make it look right around it. So we'll show that as we go. Sometimes these steps can be a little bit weird, so this is how this one ended up. We just flattened it off to the top of this block and stabbed a rebar in it. One of the main things that we try to focus on is when your footing steps and your dirt's almost lower than your footing, the landscaper will probably have to build that up around it, so keep that in mind. Right here on this is a 10-foot gate right here, but I ran the footing past probably 2 or 3 times the length it needed to be, just to give that thing some extra weight holding it down, so that when they pull the gate off, it has a nice strong footing under it. So that's why I went that far, but I didn't go all the way across because sometimes the backyard is lower than the front and it'll puddle back there, so they have to get some drainage out of here, and this gives them a chance to build a little bit of a valley through the middle of the gate to get some drainage. We dug our footings with the same little array attachment. It's getting some pretty good use on it. So what the question is what's more important, the top of the block being level like this, or the edge of your wall being level? So it's perfectly level right there going down the block, but if I put it on top of the block, it's not perfectly level. So what I do in a situation like this is I stick with level right here, because this is your overall wall. If your block has a little bit of variation in the top of it, your mortar can make up that difference. But right here to me is more important, because right over here we're going to be putting a gate in. So you want your wall to be perfectly level. So the top of it ain't going to matter as much as doing it on the sides here. So it's the same way with this on the end. You've got it right on the money there, but you put your level on there and it's not perfectly level. So I do that the same way. See, it's flush all the way along there. So it's best to do the column level than it is the top of your block. Okay, we got our column all built nice and level, and we also got our grade nails put in there, so we can just pull strings off of those, just like we did in our block wall series video. We're just going to do little clips of this one and show you the basics of it. Our skid steer started throwing a weird code again. It has a crankshaft code going on. We're kind of ready to switch it out to that TV 450B series. One important tip that you want to keep in mind is keep your layout right on an 8-inch increment. That way your wall stays nice and flat and you don't got your joints varying different sizes. It'll help a lot with when you're going through your field area laying block. Then you got your layout right on the money. It doesn't give you fat joints and thin joints all throughout your wall. Got our lead started here. Right here we did this these two columns coming in together just so that the gate would be kind of centered in there. So that's why we did two pilasters right by each other. And the side steps real deep down in there just so that the backyard landscaping could get some drainage if it needed. So our footing's way down under the dirt. Got this section of wall laid up to height. It's 6 feet tall. Did our columns about 20, a little over 20 feet apart. Then a 10-foot gate on this side. Got our columns set up. Got all our nails stabbed in the side. We got them stabbed in on this side too. And we got our string pulled. See this right here? This is a bad idea. You set your groover on the wall and that thing will just jump down there. It has a magnetic pull that just sucks those things down the wall. So you don't set those on the wall, by the way. So what we do on when we're setting these H's is we run our string all the way through there and leave the H blocks out. That way that H block doesn't interfere with the rest of the wall, so that the string stays nice and straight with them. It's not sitting on top of it, getting hooked on stuff. So we put our H blocks in after this whole row is done. Makes it a lot easier. Coming along pretty nicely. This is that section where that tree was, so we dug this footing kind of deep and big right here. So it kind of went, there's a lot of concrete down in there. Looks like they got the same problem right here. It's just pushing on their wall. That tree's ruining that thing. You can see the cracks in it. The caps are just gonna fall off there pretty soon. Our skid steer's having a nice little squeaking problem. I think the alternator might be struggling again. Right after we got it, the alternator went out. Now whenever we start it just starts squeaking like crazy. I think it might be doing it over again. Not very cool. It's like a big old piece of metal sitting there. When those things go out, you can't even move them. So we'll have to have the dealer come over and fix it or something. It's not on warranty anymore. So we're looking forward to trading that thing in and getting that TV 450B series. Try it out. Hopefully we don't have too many problems with it. Got our wall all grouted and got our caps spread out. We just usually place the caps on there about every 3 or 4 blocks and then just put the board right on the wall. Drag the mud board with us as we go. Got the cap done on this side. Turned out pretty nice. all finished up. Turned out pretty nice.